Best exercises here for partial UCL tears. There's a lot of ways to progress these, but I'm going to show you 3 in this video that might be a little bit overlooked in your program if you're trying to come back from a partial UCL tear and you get back to throwing without surgery. So the UCL attaches on the 2 bones on the inside of the elbow. So we have this bone right here, the medial epicondyle bone, and it kind of moves right over to this ulna. So there's 2 little bumps here on these bones. That's where that ulnar collateral ligament or Tommy John ligament attaches, the UCL. And it can sometimes tear a little bit in our throwers, particularly when their throwing mechanics aren't where they need to be. And that's why we've put together the programs that are on our site. We want to show you guys some different exercises to add to your rehabilitation program so you can get ready to get back into throwing. The first one that you saw right in the beginning is a Pronator Teres exercise that's going to strengthen the muscles that actually attach to both of those 2 bones and pull them together to make them strong and stabilize that forearm as you throw the baseball. So I've got a weight dangling from a band here. The band is actually on the outside of my hand, so it's pulling me open. That's going to load this inside of the elbow. You should feel it here. So this is actually a curl where I turn my palm down. Try to get into extension as much as you can at the bottom, and don't let this belt or this band come up onto the front of your knuckles. Now that's a great exercise too, but that's not what we're trying to do here with this one. We want to keep it on the back of the hand, and you will feel a nice burn through this muscle here, known as the Pronator Teres, that stabilizes the inside of the elbow. You'll also get some nice biceps activity. We know the bicep muscle will actually help to stabilize the elbow and protect the UCL as well. 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Start there. Now we're going to work on the front of the forearm, the Flexor Carpio muscle, the big forearm muscle in the front that stabilizes the UCL. We've got an old golf club here tied to a TheraBand that's actually attached way up top up there. Having that TheraBand up there and this really long lever allows me to really hit the front of that forearm hard. This muscle right here really stabilizes the inside of the elbow, and you notice that it's a pure hinge. There's no extension or flexion of the wrist. It's a hinge, and there's a lot of co-contraction because it's unstable because of the long lever of this club. Now, if this was too difficult, just choke up or choose a lighter band. It becomes much easier. But I really want to challenge my throwing athletes. I get right at the end, and I do this in this really flexed position with the elbow at least shoulder height, just like what's going to happen in the throw. And you'll get a great burn in the front of that forearm right through here. Make sure you keep the pinky all the way tight around your attachment, because if this is happening, it's not a gripping exercise. It's a wrist deviation exercise. So the wrist has to stay really tight. The forearm and hand have to stay really tight all the way back, all the way down. Vary your attachment point a little bit, bring it up or down just a little bit to make it as difficult as you can. Okay, our last one here is actually an internal rotation exercise that's gonna work more on the shoulder. We know a lot of times the subscapularis muscle, which is one of our rotator cuff muscles that helps to accelerate the arm forward as we throw, is too weak, and that can actually lead to or contribute to ulnar collateral type of injuries. So what we've got here in our setup is we've got a band that's attached about waist height. This is a fairly strong band, and you want that. You can use your Jaeger bands or whatever you've got. This other band here that goes around my upper arm towards my elbow can be a band, it can be a regular TheraBand like this, it can be a belt, it can be a strap, it can be anything. This one is just to give us a counter pressure pulling across the body. As I pull across the body, I actually have to activate my shoulder muscles, my deltoid, to push out into the band. That helps to turn off some of the bigger muscles here, like the pec and the lat, to help me isolate the muscle that I want to isolate. So I just pull across here, and I keep my arm right there. So I get in my athletic stance, elbow out in front, my palm is down. Now you can go palm in different directions, but palm being down, pronating, is going to help to protect the elbow, particularly if it kind of hurts when that outward bending force happens when you throw. So palm down helps protect the elbow. Squeeze the band to activate the forearm muscles. And if you have a baseball in your band or whatever, that works great too, but squeeze the band, palm down, elbow out. I'm pushing out into my band or strap or whatever I have, and the elbow slightly on a diagonal out in front. From there, as I squeeze, I'm going to keep pushing into that band and pull across the body. I generally do about 15 reps here, chest out nice and tall. I'm pushing out into that band the entire time and turning in. You'll kind of get a weird, kind of achy type of burning sensation around the shoulder and the armpit if you do this properly. Keep squeezing the band, keep the palm down. Once you hit your 15, we rotate a 1/4 degree. So now I'm 45 degrees rotated. And now I'm gonna do the same thing and it gets harder. Now I'm hitting 15 there. I'm still pushing out hard. Once I hit my 15 there, I'm gonna face directly towards the attachment now. Get in my athletic stance, push out to the side and turn in. Chest up, turning in. Make sure that you're not doing a bicep curl as you do this or a tricep push down. It's a pure rotation of that arm. That's great. Great exercise. I can progress that in different ways, one of which, alter your attachment height, start to come up into a position up here. This one, staying pronated, squeezing your band. This is something I'll do in my throwers later on, but in my UCL tear guys that have partial tears, they're trying to rehab them without getting surgery. Start down here, start hitting that shoulder, getting some internal rotation strength back in that subscapularis muscle that wraps around the front of the shoulder. So we've kind of looked at 3 exercises here that are a little neglected in our arm care routines and in our rehabilitation routines, one of which to really hit that pronator teres hard. The other one, to hit this FCU. Those 2 muscles are probably the most important 2 muscles on the elbow itself to stabilize it, and then working up into the shoulder and isolating out that subscapularis muscle, that rotator cuff muscle. The most important thing I tell everybody is the mechanics of your throw and how you sequence your acceleration phase and the lift of the ball. Work on that. Think about that. That's why we put those programs on our website as far as the phase-specific throwing program and those sorts of things. Make sure you develop that stable foundation for your elbow and for your shoulder. And if you're not strong there, it's going to be very difficult for you to get back on the field without having residual elbow pain and recurrence of injury. Here's 3 exercises to add to your rehab or arm care routine. Either prevent UCL damage in the future or get you back on the field after that partial tear. We've come up with a lot of videos on UCL tear. We did a whole series on UCL tears. Check out that series as well and subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up, bell for notifications if you like this content, and we'll see you guys in the next video.